So there was 46 last count registered, so there may well be others popping in, and welcome everyone, and welcome Sameera, who we've been working together for 15 years at least, in person and online together. Thank you, Lisa, thank you. And today is about transformational coaching. So this is a way, as opposed to just little bits of change, or in Arabic, shway shway, slowly, slowly, that we can have some real big aha moments and change that is sustained and lasting. So really looking forward to the session with Sameera. Her sessions are always interactive, and so enjoy.
Thank you, Claire. So hello, everyone. Nice to see Khaled, Wafa, familiar faces, and then all the... Hi, Ghada's here as well. Hello, hello. I wonder is the Naila I know. And hi, Lisa, Megan, Charlotte. Did I pronounce your name correctly? All right. Oh, Rita's here. It's nice to see our own community members as well. So welcome, everyone, in today's session. This session is kind of interesting because it's something that I'm living in right now. And I thought it will be interesting to share it also with people here. So maybe a little bit of background about where I come from. Well, I come from Bahrain, that's for sure. So, can you see my screen? Okay. So I'm from Bahrain, and I've been working in this field, let's say, for the past, 15 years. Oh no, 17. There were 2 dark years before I met you, Claire. And started as a consultant, maybe even junior consultant in 2008 in training programs. But in 2012, I had a pivot in my career. And I worked with all these organizations in different capacities, whether as a trainer, coach, consultant, even mentor coach or supervisor. And currently, I have a jewel on the crown, I call it. Babco Energies is my current project that I'm involved with. And it is a transformation project as well. So I'm lucky, grateful, blessed to have all these opportunities to explore, you know, to do the work that is required through me. Now, in other areas, I'm also a certified agile coach, and I'm an MCC. I've done a couple of different programs. I need to add a logo here. I've been kind of learning more about Enneagram for the past almost 2 years now. I've done my diploma in positive health with RCSI. On side, I enjoy AI a lot. So I explore different tools, different platforms on daily basis. I co-authored, thank you, Claire, for that opportunity, Creative Reflective Practice. It was as a lifesaver as a practice for me when it was when I was introduced to Coach P model, yes, 15 years ago. And uniquely, the reflection is a pillar in the Coach P model, which opened a whole new era for myself. All right. So based on that, I actually created a product line. It's free product line. We don't sell them. You can just click to, I mean, if I'm going to share this material with you, Claire, and if you can share it with our colleagues, if you click on this image, it will take you to a website where you don't need to register anything at all, not your email, no numbers, and you can download all these tools for free. You can print them, give it to anyone, use it. These are all reflective journals for different purposes, reflective cards with questions and so on. So that's a little bit about me. I need to know KYC, know your customers and know your audience. So people who are here, you can type in the chat. Where are you from? You can see the name, but where are you from? What type of coaching you're involved in? It could be different things. Is it life coaching, executive coaching, team coaching, organization system, NGOs? Is that your thing? Spiritual coaching? And how many? not how many, yeah, how many years of experience in this specific area we are dealing with. So I can understand what are we doing. I think we have some MCCs here, some PCCs. If we have ACCs or no CCs at all fine. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'd got this the person. Hi, Hi, Khalid. Khalid, you must be busy with the formerly called WBEX, but now it's like coaching.com. Right? Kathy, hi Kathy, nice to see your face again. Thank you for sharing your links. That's an excellent thing. Maybe we can share the chat later if it's okay with you, with everyone. Experience in coaching informally through my role as charity. Excellent. All right. Okay. So let's do this thought experiment. The way I designed this is more like a reflective practice for us to understand what does it mean when we work on large scope transformation. Yeah. So I'll start with a short video, very short video. If you want, you can take some notes if you want, or you can just relax and watch the video. The objective of watching this, I'll ask you later, how does this resonate with either your life, your client's life, or the environment, or what happens in the systems or organizations. Okay. Okay, hope this works. And if you can't hear it, see it, let me know. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So now in the space, if you want to share. Oh, let me see. Can I? Yeah. If you want to share, how is that? How did that resonate? In which aspect?
And Nayla's written in the chat, poetic justice.
Yeah. Thank you, Naila.
Yeah, other than poetic justice, I was thinking that sometimes when you come to an opportunity and you are turned down and you think that's the worst, but actually maybe something much better is waiting for you. So instead of having to share a nest with 3 other birds, now he has a home. At the end, he had a home all to himself. So that is one thing as well, other than poetic justice for the other 3 unkind birds.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Naila. And if we take that context in organizations that are doing changes and then maybe new employees coming in, or new systems trying to fit in, how would that look like? Any other reflection? Thank you, Naila. Katie saying competing interests, one person transformation is another's. Displacements, yes, and quite common. And we also notice in such type of transformation, like a case that we will look at it. It's a somehow fictional case. But yes, you're right. The displacement is one of the major challenges. That's why the immediate mitigation of that is early retirement or packages, end of service packages, or rotating of these employees, talent mobility, and a lot of other off-shelf solutions as well. Yeah. Thank you, Katie. Anyone else wants to share that? Even you can reflect it on a family level as well.
Maybe I can share. Honestly, I found it so painful. Like, this is the home of these birds and the cut. That's really, I could resonate honestly with myself, with my home country. So it's kind of like displacing the birds from their place. And this is the way I saw it.
I hear you. I hear you. And I will not use the same example because it is dear to our heart. I will give a separate example is if businesses are operating in a very unpredicted environment, if families are operating in unpredicted, employees in an unpredictable environment, complex environment, not even complicated, complex environment. So change is happening anyway, AI is happening anyway, mergers are happening anyway, acquisitions, right sizing. It's naive to think this will not happen. So how ready these organizations are until they notice, oh my God, my tree is getting cut. I've been kicked out of the business, or I'm outdated in my skills. I'm not updated. So we can take it from that context. But you're right, it is painful when people are removed from their environment and not given other options. Yeah.
I think I was thinking the purpose-built birdhouse was only purpose-built for a certain type of bird. And that's what I was thinking, that sometimes company solutions, as hard as they try, it's maybe still not fitted for every type of bird or every type of person. Not everybody will fit in the mold that may be needed.
Yeah, wow, Megan, yeah, you just spot on things. Yes, the company will take an existing resource and try to revamp it, restructure it. And then when the end solution comes, it only fits specific purpose. And a lot of what we are hearing from the engagements and different resources as well, some research, I mean, are the companies only focusing on the younger generation, the new workforce, on this specific age category? Do we have an ignored workforce that is still available to deliver value, but the system is not designed to cater them? And by old, I don't only mean age-wise. I'm also thinking about the older systems, the older skills.
And I was thinking of complex adaptive systems, and I used to always think of complex adaptive systems as adaptive being positive, and yet that isn't always the case. Things can adapt, but they're still not fit for purpose.
And so I will unwrap two things about it. Us here as coaches, how do we look at transformation? And by default, hopefully, I'm putting my positive hat, we are positive outlook professions. And we see the potential, we see the positive side of everything. But when we look at individuals, organizations, teams, that's not a natural outlook for transformation. And not everyone, actually vast majority, will not buy in the transformation initiative. That's why the change agents, the change champions, the management. The one thing that you also said, the other side that I want to unwrap, the adaptive part. The truck just came and cut the tree and went. So there was no transition planning. That's another pillar in our module. Transition planning, how we will move from this tree to a house with less damage. Was there any scaling, any planning, any right sizing of what type of workforce we want in, and how we will exit or remodel or reallocate, mobilize these talents and systems? It was just stop this, cut it, bake a house, that's it, leave. And as Wafa said, from a parent perspective, that's my house. This is my work. This is my office. This is my system. This is the project I built. This is my family. This is my life. This is my career. This is my bank account. It's ours, and we will be defensive on our things. Change shouldn't, it's not natural. For people that are not trained on that or not have that kind of mindset. But for us, we see it. We see the positive side of change. But our conversation and work that will happen at this phase is not with people who are optimistic. We don't have a problem. They don't. Well, let me put it as an argument. They will benefit from coaching. People who are pro-change and want to change and leading the change in the organization and doing all these policies, implementing it, they will benefit. Yeah. But usually the request for coaching comes for the resistance side, who the first thing they will say, I don't want this, Sameera. I don't want you. I don't want coaching. I don't want you. It doesn't make sense. They are not pro the change. And those are our target audience. So the interventions or the plan that we will do, whether as an external coach, consultant company, this is not one person job, or an internal expert who will manage that scope and design it in collaboration with different stakeholders. Yeah? Go ahead, Britta.
Hello, long time.
Hi.
Hi. So I don't know if it fits into the context, but the clients I coach in terms of going through transformation are mostly in corporates where they sit sandwiched as a leader, but not in control of the decision they're receiving. And then they have to either they have to cut the house of others, and then the others will demand for information that this person doesn't have. So that, and I've been there myself on both ends. So that is one thing that I find very difficult, because you coach the person and you kind of think in your head, send them here. And then also those who are, and then they have to implement the transformation, sort of, yeah, they have to implement, and that can be different processes, different IT systems, whatever. And then they have to deal with a lot of resistance in their team. And my experience is that those who are resistant to change are often also resistant to coaching, or not understanding, or not wanting. And then the other layer there is people who may be affected by their house being cut or their job being taken, and they sit in this uncertainty and don't get the information because the boss also doesn't have the information and their boss doesn't have the information. So I just wanted to, so those are the two main audiences I currently have in my practice in terms of transformation.
Britta, spot on as well. So yes, exactly what you said. 100%, I'll tell you out of experience, this is what happens. And they are, let alone the train, the shortcut solution. Sameera, want 3 days change management program. And it's like, nice to have, but that's not a must-have, right? It's a nice to have, but your must-have is missing. We will not solve that problem. Sameera, we might need, can you bring us 5 coaches? We want to coach these 50 individuals on what? The transformation. Nice to have, but that's not your starting point there. There are other things needs to be done before that, for that to work, at least at a effective way. So let's reflect again on ourselves. Let me do this thought experiment with you. Oh yes, the other point, right? Would you tell us about that, Claire, instead of me reading that out loud?
So if I'm being honest, we're all human beings here, and I'll certainly raise my hand to othering people and then becoming, sometimes it can even be in our subconscious. So it's the management, they, them, but we see it on the news and we see it in society. And when we other someone, it's almost I'm right and my perspective's right, and they, them are wrong. And
Yeah.
of course, it doesn't get any of us anywhere.
Yeah. And that takes me to the idea as well, if we are external coaches, so you don't know our management, or you've been hired by our, and when we are internal coaches, pro change, so it's you against us, because you are considered part of that committee that's trying to do the change part, and we don't like that, we don't want that. Or maybe I trust you, you are a nice person as a coach, but I cannot tell you anything. Because it's where are you coming from, right? Who brought you in and what is their agenda?
I remember working external and then working internal with the same organization. The director of HR no longer wanted me to coach him once I was internal. But the other thing is other people who I was coaching already, and then, with the internal label then, and they were like, oh, are you a spy for the CEO? Even though, of course, the confidentiality had all been shared. So really interesting. As adults, we make all sorts of things up as well, don't we?
Yeah. And therefore, when we look at if coaching is requested as a transformation tool, as one of the tools that are the building blocks of the transformation, it might not be the only one. We still need a lot of consultants, a lot of SMEs in different areas, depending on what the transformations are. But when we talk about large scale transformation, coaching can be part of that process. It's how we actually implement it. So a lot goes in that specific process, and it's not a Panadol. What do you use, Claire? Advil or aspirin? It's not a painkiller. Yeah. They try to use it as painkiller. It doesn't. It's worsen the symptoms. I say it's a lifestyle. It will take time for it to show, and it has different points of intervention and ways. I've never done 2 similar projects, never. And there are some of them, they have its own pitfalls. I've seen it so many times done, not in the right way. And I've seen it, at least now when we are implementing, we have some insights. And when I say we, because I work a lot with Claire in different projects as well. So we see a lot of, for example, this specific organization, we might need to do this type of intervention instead of that, or we might need to use this specific. And usually when we are external coaches within a company such as BMC, BMC is our placeholder, right? And then there might be a company in the middle who's doing the leadership development and training part. And maybe there is a third-party platform managing that process as well. And then you have the HR of the company or the training and development of the company, to a lot of stakeholders. By the end, when the client and the coach meet, some organizations, they don't even introduce the chemistry session. So these are some of the very minor challenges. I mean, I wanted to take you to a place to see how that reflects on a smaller scale. Because people say, hey, we have money and we have the power and the blessing from the upper management and the chairman. Let's do it. But there is a huge element missing. The willingness of the environment to do it, of people inside this environment, the system, the space, even the availability of competent coaches to actually be part of that. And why I'm saying that, it's not only a list of coaches that we can tap in, it's also who are these coaches? Are they relevant to this client? Yeah. So let's imagine one day in your life. All of us, let's imagine one day in our life. If it's morning, imagine yesterday. If it's evening for you, imagine today. So think about it the moment you opened your eyes this morning or yesterday morning. What are the first things you've done in that 1 hour, the first hour? Take a mental note. Then think about what have you done later in mid-morning. You call people, you attend meetings, emails, had breakfast, drove your car. Like a day in our life, a normal life. Then the mid part of the day, the noon. You continued attending meetings, went for a run, read a book. Then what happened in late afternoon? You met friends, continued working, you slept, had lunch. How about the evening? What activities you were involved evening? Let's say between 4 till 7 o'clock. Then what did you do between, let's say, 7:30 till your bedtime? Now, I invite you to think about how much, if it was an extraordinary day, such as you're just not traveling and you traveled that day, so think about an ordinary day. Out of all the schedule, the themes that are coming in, so the main 4 or 5 things that you do every day. Yeah. I'm gonna send you to smaller breakout room. Just share in general, like vast majority of my day, I do 1, 2, 3 most of the time. These are my normal days. Or I do coffee or day. Just share those insights with your group. And yeah, let's say around 3 minutes should be okay, or maybe 4 minutes. Maybe you have a more exciting days. Just a very quick one, like this is what I do on a normal days. See ya. All right, so welcome back. I think you shared what you do on your daily basis, how your normal day will look like. Okay, take a note. What would you want to add, modify, change, more of, that will improve your daily routine? It could be something, it could be, and maybe. I wish I had more time to read 5 pages a day, or 1 hour walk, or it's a small change, very small change. Right? You can write in chat if you want to share some ideas. Hey, if this is my daily routine, what's one thing I can add or remove, modify, more of, less of, that will improve my daily routine in whatever aspect. Make time for me, like to start. Oh, okay. This is nice. Just to sit, and close to nature. Yeah. Some of these wishes are very specific, and some of them are generic, right? So even when we ask the organizer, what do you want? What would the transformation would look like? What is the expectation from the coaching intervention? It's like, we want a better place. What does better mean? We want more teamwork. How are we measuring that down the road? So there are different tools to do that. Time to do nothing and listen to nature. Oh, thank you. Claire, you did that yesterday?
I did.
All right. Now, let me invite you to do one more exercise on top of this. So if you decided to do this tomorrow, immediately, 100% on-spot implementation, who should be involved? What will change? For example, will I need to change space in my home? Will I need to change my route coming back home? Will I need to change my sleeping habits? Will that impact my kids, my pets? Who is involved? And what will be different? More at peace. Yeah. So for example, when people are saying, when we work with individuals, we are also looking at transformation, right? Sameera, I want to be a better presenter. I want to be a better executive. I'm aspiring to go in the board level. I'm aspiring to open a new business branch new branch in a certain country. Or I want to save money. So who's involved? My wife is involved, or my husband is involved. What needs to be changed? Because we cannot work on transformation of a culture. You want to introduce coaching culture, and I'm just working with the team leaders, whether they are middle manager, or the first line managers, or the executives, or only the L&D team, or the HR team. Who are involved, and what does it need for the change to happen? Imagine if we want to just change a habit of our sleeping. How many stakeholders will be impacted? People who live with us, people who talk to us evenings, our setting, the lights at home, the pets. Yeah. What will change if I want to increase my, or I want to improve my eating habits? So if I want to just improve my eating habits, for example, to be vegetarian for a month, what will the system look like when that happens? So the immediate transformation, it's at a personal level, not that easy and straightforward. How many times we try to go on diet and our friends intentionally will have our open day every day. And they intentionally people are bringing good food at home. So imagine transformation on an organization level, bigger scale, where you are changing IT systems, you are changing HR systems, you are changing policies, you are merging different things. It's really complex. Let me share with you a case study. Yeah? It's a fictional case study, but very close to real examples. And look at the scope of change they are aspiring for. Fictional company, Chief People and Culture Officer at Asas. Usually, these are the people who will be involved. The company, Asas, it's industrial services, but now it has a holding company where the other SBUs, strategic business units, will report or work under this holding company. Quite a trend. The banks are doing it now. Government agencies are doing it now. At least I'm talking about our region. Insurance companies, industrial companies, energy sector are going into that model. Yeah, and these transformations create challenges. Yeah? So the transformation, usually, especially in this type of businesses, whatever is not core business will be centralized. HR, finance, IT, everything will be centralized at a holding level, holding company level. Yeah? And anything that is core to business, they will stick to it. For example, I was working with a company, they had pharmacy, they had hospitals, they had warehousing, they had systems, but the hospital was handling the housing as well. So they had to kind of like centralize all these shared services. And even one of them ended up opening a sub SBU to manage the properties, because hospital is not a property management business, right? It's a health management business. So who will manage these properties, clinics? Should be a separate company, and our own company, another SBU that will handle that. So instead of that being a cost center, it will change into a profit center as a department if they had a facility management department. So let's go back to our session, the case. Certain functions are changing. Talent mobility. So some departments, when let's say they had a decentralized marketing, they will come at the hub to work together. Unifying operating systems, standards, salaries, grades, different grades, job descriptions, duplication of a lot of work, new job should be created, organization structure, the reporting line, IT policies, etc. So it's a huge transformation scope. And matured companies, or let's say matured team that is working in such transformation, they will check the pulse of the transformation and people throughout that, to see as we are moving towards these operations, how people are feeling through engagement survey, pulse survey, transformation journey survey, whatever they will call it. And they noticed that a lot of people are resisting. Majority of people are resisting. Multiple issues are happening. Productivity is impact. So let's say that the CPCO is considering coaching intervention as part of the solution and change management process. Remember, I intentionally kept it as part. It's not the only solution. Yeah. So key challenges, there is resistance to change, lack of collaboration. So people are saying, oh, you used to work in that company. Our company is better than your company. Now, why I have to report to you? Lack of collaboration, delayed deliverables, trust. I can't trust the system. Things are not clear. Accountability. I didn't do it. That company, HR didn't do it. I cannot work with them. Kind of like blaming culture, and low engagement as a result. Now the question is for you. No? How would you envision the coaching intervention? So they have 5,000 employees. I have to show you this slide. Okay. Right? 5,000 employees across different SBUs. 270 of the 5,000 are executives and managers. So by executives, of course, you know, and they're on the top level. Managers who are managing teams under them. Managing people managers, that means. And then 700 team leaders and first line supervisors. So by that, we're talking about approximately 20% of the workforce are responsible for others, or functions or departments. And the rest are individual contributors. They want to improve accountability, collaboration, trust, and it should enhance all this. Now, from your perspective, how do you envision that? What will you start with as phase one? Okay, so that's a question for you, but you can answer it in the breakout room again. Share your ideas with your group and say, okay, if this was something I'll be involved with, whether as an external coach who is hired as a consultant or internal expert who will work with different stakeholders. Is it clear? Right? Then I'll give you around, let's say 5 minutes to discuss that. See ya. Welcome back. So, would you want to share some ideas? Where would you start? What do you think we should do as coaches, internal or external consultant?
I don't mind sharing it. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Megan.
But it's your summary, really. In our group, we were just starting to discuss which way around to do it, because we started off talking about the top level alignment and making sure there's consistency there with the executives and the higher management before we'd go into the coaching culture. But then we were discussing, so I guess that's from, you know, from the coaching transformation from the top to bottom. But then we were acknowledging the 80% is the majority of the workforce. And I suppose we would be thinking, if we're ignoring that, you know, those are potentially the workforce that we really need to get on board. And maybe it might not be great for there to be a further delay to be leaving if it's a workforce that's perhaps uncomfortable or unhappy, don't feel like they've had clear communication, then leaving them longer may also cause further issues down the line. So I guess we were just discussing, you know, top to bottom or coaching bottom up, and what that would look like.
Yeah, we didn't have time, Megan, to discuss even the third option, which is the sandwich, you know, option. You target, let's say, the champions, the high flyers of the 80%. You select a few, and you target the top management and the executives at the same time in parallel. So then you would have a more effective way for the transformation in culture. So, but we didn't have time to discuss like the third option, which is the sandwich. But we were exploring all options actually in our group. Thank you, Megan, for summarizing our discussion.
No, thank you for sharing your knowledge in the group. It was really helpful for me. And I like the idea of the sandwich option, so I will note that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So good insights. And what I'm getting there is what you're looking at, where to start. Like, where's the starting point? What I'm going to do with that starting point? Am I going to, as a coaching intervention now, and we are part of the solution, which means we are also working with other initiatives within the organization. So the starting point is, what are you doing in the transformation? And who's involved? I want to be, as a coach, I need to have a seat with that team. I need to have a touch with that team. It's not a, when we need coaching, you do your thing, we will do our thing, and then we will meet in the middle, right? So a lot of things can happen there. Any other reflections you want to share?
Yeah, so I can share, but I'm hoping my group will pitch in. So I must admit, I didn't get the full instructions. I missed
right.
distracted, to be honest. But so what we discussed, the first step would be in a scenario like that is to basically have a lot of interviews and have a situation take in of what's going on right now, get a feeling of who is involved and what are their senses, who is pro, who is con, get a little bit of the underlying stories, and make sure, like, before we move on, make sure everyone is, I think Emma said that, or Wafa, everyone is okay with the team coaching. There are no conflicts, and also maybe stakeholder analysis. Where are we now? Where do we want to be? And what is the actual change? Roles and responsibilities was something as taking situation analysis. Where are they now and where they're supposed to be? And who is doing what, and which hats are we having on, or are stakeholders having? In a nutshell, if any of my group members want to pitch in, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Brita. So I'll just add on something that I thought was really interesting that you shared was the saboteurs and supporters, understanding where they are and what they're looking at, and also sort of interviews with the sponsors, contracting conflicts of interest, and having that, you know, psychological safety as a key point there for the team to feel safe.
Then you see how many different things if we want to change a small habit at home, we have so many things to change. Imagine transforming an organization. Yeah. So we can do a lot of stuff. And as you said, starting from, I'm going to actually share the presentation, the slide that you shared from our material as well.
Sorry, just one note
go
here.
ahead.
We were not sure, all of us were not sure if it was team coaching or individual coaching. So we decided it's team coaching because that made most sense from the case.
Yeah. So it was more likely to be, you are hired to implement a coaching culture. All right. So it's a bigger fish now. So you are hired, you said, hey, you are a PCC, MCC, you are a seasoned coach. You must know something about coaching. Come here, work with us. We've heard in the coaching can help people in transformation. Show us what we need to do. So a good starting point, as some of you mentioned, an assessment, situation assessment. It could be through multiple ways. It could be through readiness survey, culture survey, engagement surveys, different data points, focus group, interviews, meetings with different stakeholders. Are we coming in the start of the transformation? Are we in the middle of the transformation? Are we towards the end of phases of transformation? Yeah. So we do that, and then we look at who are the stakeholders, who's leading this transformation, because we will do part of it, but we need to understand the picture to actually do the transformation and be part of the transformation journey. Yeah. So as let me just, can you see my screen? Yeah. So as Claire said, when we talk about an organization that they have a coaching culture, it's actually embedded in the system. It's like water, what water? It's the way they behave all the time. This is the way they show up. This is the way they are being. That's their isness, which is difficult if the organization have never done that. So it takes multiple interventions, and I kept few of them here. It could be we are part of the change management programs. We as coaches are part of those trainings, workshops, champions, selecting them, coaching them. We are part of the stakeholder engagements, the communication, the strategic meeting. We attend with them. We might facilitate some of them at this process standardization. If they're doing, we are part of those committee. Which processes you are standardizing? How will that impact the employees? Whose salaries are getting less? Who will have less merit? We need to understand that. It shouldn't be news came to us. We should be part of the creators of the news. Technology integration, how is that impacting who in the organization? We need to have that conversation with the team. Resource allocation, strategies, budgeting. If we are recommending something, we need to understand who will approve that budget. Where is it coming from? From which account? Is it a centralized budget? Is it a decentralized budget? How many resources are we having? Internal, external, mix? Are we training team leaders, supervisors? We're talking about how many? I said 700 plus supervisors and team leaders, first line managers. How we will train them? Are we going to train them on a 3 days program? Are we going to train them on a big workshop setup? Is it an awareness webinar that we will start? Frameworks, who is coaching who? And when the deliverables of the change is happening, who's responsible of those KPIs? We need to have conversations with them. I mean, you are doing a salary scaling. How is your progress with that? Designing multiple mentoring programs, reverse mentoring programs, maybe even training them there. Looking back at their existing training, in-class training programs, embedding coaching in those. So, for example, if you have a pool of talents or potential leaders and they're going for an executive education, we recommend the school and give them coaches on top of that. So they are also coaching within the programs, other than the coaching happening inside the organization. The the graduates, the fresh graduates who are joining, the successors, who's talking to them, what is the plan, how are they managing their talent pools in each organization, and who's leading. I will always ask, in this specific function, out of all these organizations, who has the leading process, because that could be our benchmark. And then, of course, offering coaching. So do you see, I kept offering coaching for leaders develop skills in their managing team as the last box, because I wouldn't start there. I will have to have full context as a coach who's leading this initiative. Yeah, and of course, hundreds of other things will come in. It's a comprehensive development. When we are inside the organization, we should be part of the change team. We are not just a service provider in an office having a coaching office. Anyone who wants to come, just come. No, we are part of that transformation team. People fear change, of course. People will lose their jobs, will lose their colleagues, will lose their physical places, their contracts will be changed. We don't like going out of our comfort zone. So when we go to these organizations, it's not a walk in the park. We will face dragons. Everybody has their own. I read this statement in one of the newsletters, and I like to share it. If the dragon is breathing fire, because it's protecting a treasure. So if the pro-change people are pushing towards it, they are seeing opportunity, but the people who don't want to change, they have treasures. It could be treasure as peace of mind. I have a fixed salary, a consistent job. I've done this for so long, and now you're asking me to change. Yeah. So that's why we as coaches, we need to understand what are the treasures and how we can work around it. And sometimes, as some said, it might be not a pleasant idea for some of them to go through it, but this is how it is. Either we think about the change as something that will happen anyway, and then try to make that process easier for people to go through it. So that was my end. I hope you find some interesting things. If you can share with me any insights that you found it interesting, and if you want to know more, definitely please reach out to myself, to Claire. I'm also in the group.
Wonderful. And you've made me think about wide-angled empathy, having compassion for the whole system, being able to sit in the shoes of other stakeholders, internal and external, to be able to, realize and understand it from their perspectives as well. And I'm thinking, obviously, with it being your first language, shui shui, slowly, slowly. When transformation goes too fast, it just breaks like Lego pieces that have been bopped on the head. That was a vision that I got. Thanks, Sameera. Really, really interesting session. Rich, reflective. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Always pleasure to be with our colleagues, our own family members here. Yeah.
Absolutely. And my group, just do what you need to do. We're starting shortly. Grab a coffee or whatever, and I'll see you in the other room. Everyone else, lovely to see you. Today has gone out a flyer for an interview that I'm doing with Robin Shohut, which is the 3rd of July, 4 p.m. UK. And he is, let's say, one of the elders, one of the fathers of supervision, not specifically coaching supervision. Supervision he sees as supervision, which is the way we do as well. And he's also the co-creator of the seven-eyed model. So that's just gone out today. I hope to see you there as well.
Inshallah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Samira.
Thank you.
Shukran
Thanks.
jazilan.
Shukran.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.